Dust is something unavoidable in certain locations in war. It wasn't too long ago that I visited the Middle East, and one of the first things that I noticed was that the dust that I saw there, the climate and environment, was not too dissimilar from what I saw here in western Nebraska where I live. I recently picked up this book, True Stories from World War I, and one of the authors in this book tells a story of when he was in Palestine. Now, Palestine is not too far from where I was, and he had a rifle very similar to this one. This is an Ishapur 2A1. His rifle would have been in 303 British, whereas this one is in 308. The action is the exact same. The only difference is the chambering and the magazine to go along with it, so that it can feed from this magazine. So what interested me in his story is that he describes his rifle jamming. And I want to read that and then put this rifle through tests that might be similar to the one that he experienced. Here he describes himself getting his rifle ready. Fall in. No noise. No talking. We line up. Bombs and additional bandoliers of ammunition are served out. 10 rounds are loaded into the rifle's magazine. 10 rounds are loaded into the rifle magazines. Things look bad. Contrary to orders, I slip a cartridge up the spout, adjusting the safety catch. So he puts 10 rounds in his rifle, and he never says this is an SMLE, but from this fact alone we know it is, because this was the only rifle during the war that held 10 rounds. So he loads 2 stripper clips into his magazine, and then he says he adjusts the safety catch. I would assume that by safety catch, he was referring to the magazine cutoff, since he might adjust that and then put a round in and then close the bolt on it. Now, he may have meant the actual safety, which is on this side. That's unclear. But he had 9 or 10 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber.
All right, so I have a round in the chamber, and I'm going to keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, but the safety is on.
Let's read ahead to when the jam happens. He mentions his rifle at 2 parts in this section during the fighting. The barrel of my rifle blisters my fingers, then the bolt sticks fast, fouled with grit. I tear and swear at it, and my hand goes stiff with cramp. The reeking breach sickens me. Later, he says, my hand shakes as I grip my rifle and take aim, but the bolt is jammed and the trigger limp. The first thing he describes is that his bolt is stuck closed. The Enfield bolt has a rail that goes along the side right here. I said Enfield, but this is specific to the number 1 Mark IIIs and some of the other patterns. The number 4 Mark I does not have this, but it has a rail right here that the bolt head rides in. And that rail, if it gets gritty, just gums up and does not want to move. Same thing right here. The bolt head needs to travel backwards slightly when you open the bolt, and any grit right there stops that up. Part of the problem that he ran into is that the entire Enfield action from front to back is open and exposed. That's one advantage of front locking lugs, is that not as much gunk is going to get in them, whereas these rear locking lugs can become filled with it.
All right, so I have a round in the chamber, and I'm going to keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, but the safety is on. I would get this stuff all up in the action. I would get it on this side, get it behind the cocking piece. All right, this is thicker gravel, not just pure sandy dust, like you might think when you think of this type of situation. Not going to wipe it or anything, just get the safety off. Oh man, that's gritty. All right, have a target down range and see how we do. Okay, let's try and cycle the action. Oh, that's stuck. All right, I'm going to try and get a closer look at this. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of sand in the action, and I did get the bolt all the way up. We're just going to try and yank it back. All right, so we got it out. And you can notice already, this action is just full of small rocks and dust. Let's run a few more rounds through this and see how it does. Oh, that's really gritty and hard. If you've ever run a Lee bolt, it's super smooth. It is not like that right now, for sure, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not wanting to come back. Make sure all the way up. Ugh. All right. Every time I pull a trigger, dust comes flying back into my face. All right.
He also mentions the trigger being dead, and in my video on cock on close versus cock on open actions, I show you the Enfield Striker up close. One of the issues that happens with this rifle is that the way the striker works, it can get stuck down. When that trigger gets stuck down, because it's cock on close, it's almost as if the trigger is being pulled when you push the bolt forward. The striker will not stay back, and therefore it won't have enough energy to hit the primer and strike it. See, I pull the trigger, and it does nothing. I think that this is probably what happened, was sand and dust got stuck in between the trigger and sear and in that mechanism, and that meant that the trigger would not function.
All right. Okay, it's getting easier. I'm going to shoot one more, and then we're going to try something new. Oh, the striker didn't come back. These are cock on close, and it did not cock when it closed. So, get that back. Ugh, all right. Stiff. Okay, so now get that down. Okay, that is a major malfunction that we can't fix without taking the gun apart. So, you may be asking, John, why are you taking this gun apart in the dust? You're going to get a whole bunch of crap in the action. That's a very good question. Now, if I was in the middle of Palestine and Ottomans were shooting at me, I would not have time to lay out a mat, get my gun out, get all of my oiler bottle, and get everything ready. I would need to fix this as quickly as possible in any situation that I had. So I'm going to do it right here. First, I'm going to remove the magazine. That is one perk of the Enfield. The magazine is easily removable. Put that down right there, face up, so we don't get more gunk in it. Next, we're going to need to remove the bolt. Okay. All right, with the bolt, I am going to put this in my pocket so that I don't get anything else on it, setting it down in the dust. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, tried blowing in it. Nope, still not getting held back. What I would assume is the lever is not coming high enough up to catch the striker. So I fiddled around with it some more, just shoving my finger in there. And my Enfield is working again. So, good news. I'm not going to die yet. Well, I might get hit by an artillery shell, but I have a working gun again. I don't know about you guys, but I care a lot about the finer things in life. And by the finer things in life, I mean finer dust than we had over there on that mound. So, again, gonna load a new round into the chamber. Put the put the safety on. Put that down and grab some of this finer dust and do the same thing. Just drop it in the action and let it all fill up the whole thing. Let's see how this does. All right, I have the camera a little closer this time so that you can see the action. Oh, just need to turn the safety on. That was bad. That could have been very bad. I pulled the trigger and then realized the safety was on. And when I went to take the safety off, the striker went down. This is on a live round. Again, I've always kept it pointed in a safe direction. Let's try and get this out of here. Okay. All right, so I got the bolt open, which is nice. Now let's try and... All right. Just blew in the action. And yeah, there is the lightest dent on our primer. All right. Let's close this on an empty action and see if the striker goes back even. Yeah, no, same problem as last time. The striker is not staying back, and the gun is down. So let's fix this problem again. All right, so our striker still isn't going back. Just gonna put this around in my pocket. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing we did last time and pry up that cocking piece. What would I have on the field? I would have a bullet. All right, we're gonna use a bullet. Get the tip up under there, pry that up more. Pull it. Okay, I think we fixed our problem. So let's try a few rounds and see what happens. All right. Okay, our action's closed, but it's gritty.
The third point that he talked about there we'll mention in a second. In this, he's talking about a Colonel Borton. We scramble to our feet and follow him down a long rocky slope in the half-light, but heavy fire breaks out anew. We cannot stand it and we are forced into the dust again. Ripping out the bolt of my rifle, I lick it clean. Spitting out the grit, it is hot and scorches my tongue. The final thing that he talks about is that he can eventually get the bolt out of the rifle. So you pull it back, you flip that to the side and pull it out. He mentions earlier that they don't have any water and that this grit is just piling up in their mouth. So his one solution, shoot the enemy or die. He licks his bolt. Now he's been firing this, it's going to be hot and it burns his tongue. So he licks it clean, he gets the grit off, and then he puts it back in his rifle and it's ready to go. I'm sure it was still gritty after that. However, it fired, and that may have saved his life. So that third point is that these actions get hot. He mentioned specifically that the barrel burned him. It's possible that he's talking about this part of the receiver and the little bit of breech shown here. Maybe he grabbed the rifle much like this. Or this part of his rifle may be missing. This part is very prone, this little piece of the handguard right here, is very prone to breakage. And I have seen many Enfields that are missing them altogether. Just as an anecdote, during World War II, the Germans in their Kar 98Ks stopped making their handguards go full length, and they stopped them right here. This part was all bare. Dust is unavoidable in warfare, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, subscribe, like, share, whatever, do the normal things. I had fun making this video, although I didn't have fun cleaning all the dust and sand out of my rifles. If you enjoyed this video and you want more videos that involve storytelling, let me know. That'll be good feedback. You guys have a nice week, and I'll see you next Saturday. Goodbye.
All right. Okay, our action's closed, but it's gritty. All right. Ugh. Okay. All right, last round of this magazine. All right, I think we have a few things to learn from all this. All right, so now I'm having a new problem. So let's look at this. The bolt is taking a ton of energy to push forward. I don't even know if I can do it from that angle, but yeah. Okay, so I can do it. Here, let me get the camera down a little bit. I can do it. It just takes a lot of force. And it's getting looser over time. All right, so I have XM180C Federal, 7.62x51, 10 rounds loaded up. And I did this right after the dust test, so if you see me struggling with this a little bit, that is why. .2787. Ugh, that dust test is really gonna make this hard on me, isn't it? 1 second. .2778. .2772. .2783. Oh man. Ugh. I'm gonna need to edit this video a ton. 2794. 2776. There we go. 2743. 2749. 2 rounds left. 2764. 2776. And I am never going to dust this gun ever again.